Well, thank God for the opportunity to be here and play again. I thought we never quit. We battled back. Losing Finley early didn't help us any. But the girls battled and kept fighting, and just came a little short at the end. If we had a couple more minutes, I think maybe we could have got it. But proud of them always. They out-hustle everybody every night, so I can't complain about anything.
Yeah, Coach, it was a physical game all throughout the night. I mean, what was your, like, how do you feel about your team's response to that? Dealing with that pressure inside, taking it from the basket, and, having a lot of finishes with contact.
Well, we knew that it was going to be a rough game from watching them on film. We told them we just got to play through that stuff and we can't control what's called, what's not. We just got to play. And I think for the most part we did that. Every time they punched us, we punched back. I think we were down 12-13 at one point, and at least had a shot at the buzzer. What more can you ask for? At least a chance to win the game.
Tatum, you specifically 17 points, quite a few rebounds, and dealing with that pressure in the paint. What was tonight like for you? You had a tough first half, but battled in the second. So what was that second half like for you?
It's definitely rough. It was very physical, but just had to try to play through it. And
Coach, how are you guys different without Finley?
Takes away our stretching the floor a little bit. She can shoot it from as soon as she crosses half court at times. Livy stepped up and hit some big shots in her spot. Her length, her length helps on defense. It changes the whole game for us. But the girls came in and they did what they needed to give us a shot at the end. So.
Yeah, Olivia, speaking about that, a little bit of a tough first half, but coming in the fourth quarter, and especially the last few stretch, you dominated on the three-point line. What opportunities presented themselves later in this game that allowed you to kind of put your team into a close position?
I just started cutting more, and I knew once we lost Finley that I had to step up and make some outside shots to get things kind of started.
Can you just kind of expand a little bit on what Tatum was talking about? I know physicality isn't something you're a stranger to. It's kind of something that, you guys maybe even pride yourselves on. So you knew this was going to be a tough battle, but the two of you, I think, combined for 32 points, a whole bunch of rebounds. So, I know the short end of the stick in the outcome, but you guys more than held your own down there in that paint.
like Rick said, we knew going in that it was going to be a rough game and that they were going to make us work for it. I think that once me and Tatum started realizing if we're working together underneath there, that if I'm feeding her, she's feeding me, that they really couldn't stop us. When we were trying to get it from our guards and then just doing it one-on-one, it wasn't really working. But once we feed each other, we do a really good job of giving each other the good balls that we need to get to have the points and the boards that we do.
To be able to fight back like that with all the adversity you guys face, what do you think that says about the character of this group?
That's never been a question. That's never been a question. The determination and as hard as they play, that will never, ever, I will never have a problem with that with these girls. It's not even a question. It got down to the end and we had to start fouling. If we didn't have, if we kept the ball at a 3 and not foul her, it might have been different. She's going to knock them down. But as far as quit, determination, and will, there was never a question with these girls.
How frustrating was it, for them to have that shooting start that they did, especially from Montgomery? It seemed like she couldn't miss there early.
Yeah.
Do you think that played a little bit of a factor at all?
I think it played a big factor early. The games that I'd seen them play, she never shot like that, at least not that many in a row. Or I think she had 5 in the first half, I believe, 5 threes. And that, that put us kind of on on the 8-ball there, and we had to battle back for that, and we did a much better job on picking up the second half. Of course, we had to flip defenses a little bit and change some things, but it played a big role.
Not having Finley, do you have to change your defense drastically?
Well, what hurts with not having her on defense is just that length. And she gets a lot of defensive rebounds, but, you put Izzy and Tate and Finley back there and their arms up, they cover the whole floor. I mean, and we have really nobody else that long. But Gracie came in and did a good job. Emma came in and did a good job. Those things happen. Injuries happen. We've went through them all year, here and there. So you just got to battle and do the best you can. And I think for the most part we did that.
Obviously, I know what the inside duo of Tatum and Izzy bring. Can you touch on that little spurt towards the end of the game that Olivia had, to give you guys a shot in the closing seconds?
Livy can do that every night if she would. I yell at her more for not shooting than I've ever yelled at anybody for shooting. If you've seen her practice, it's just one after the other after the other. And, I've never yelled at anybody for taking a shot in my life, I don't think. And I think sometimes I don't know if she doesn't want to feel like she's a ball hog or if she just doesn't have the confidence, but she can knock them down one after the other.
Tatum, what was going through your mind there in the last couple seconds? I know there was only like 0.8 seconds left, but you pick off that inbounds pass. Kind of reminds me of like a Jerry West situation. He ends his college career with the ball in his hands at half court. You didn't quite get a shot off, but I just was curious what was running through your mind.
The first thing that whenever I got the ball, I just you have to shoot it. You have to try to get it up. At least it gives us a chance. But
Any further questions? All right, Coach, let us thank you all very, very much.
Yep. You want your things taken? What's that?
And if one of them's in trouble, they're both in trouble. All right.
Crazy walking. I'm gonna pinch
We have with us Victoria's head coach from Williamstown, Danny Bunch, players Quinn Bunch, Gracie Montgomery, and Arissa Burt. Coach, congrats on the win. Just some opening thoughts, and we'll get your questions.
Solid win. I mean, didn't expect us to play perfect tonight. You know, we haven't played a lot of ball games here in the last 3 or 4 weeks, just with, you know, getting the 1 seed, having a big break. But I thought it was a gritty win. I thought we played, you know, really, really tough, and, you know, things got a little tough. I don't think we really got rattled there late. So I felt like as the game went, we played a little better, but I didn't expect a whole lot of perfection tonight. Kudos to Philip Barbour. Solid athletic team. I thought they played extremely hard, and part of the reason we didn't play very well is for what they were doing. So just a good ball game. Glad we were gutted out, and what they say, the motto here is to survive and advance. And tonight, that's what we had to do, and luckily the girls, I was able to grit that out and were able to advance.
Questions? Final stretch of the game, like, you know, pretty close. Looks like you guys might have a chance of losing the lead at some point, a little less than a minute left. What were you telling your team at that point in the game to try to calm them down or set up a good opportunity for them?
Talking about late in the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like there was one time out there, I felt like we took like 3 or 4 extremely quick shots. Not necessarily horrible shots, you know, if it was second, third quarter. But I felt like, you know, I think about the time we had a 7-8 point lead, and I felt like we just rang off. I think a couple of them were 3-pointers. We went and drove a couple times, and I don't think we really needed to really force the issue there. I didn't really want to stall the ball, but I thought we always talk about getting a better shot. You know, a good shot's one thing, but let's get a great shot. So I felt like we just rushed a few there, and when we really didn't need to. So that's sort of what I was chanting at them. It's like, yes, we want to be aggressive, but let's be smart also. We do have an 8-point lead in a state tournament game. Nothing's going to come easy, so let's just try to get a better shot. I felt like we settled down and did that there late.
Coach, you guys are physical, they're physical, you know, not that you're mirror images of each other at all, but just, can you touch a little bit on what it was like, kind of, you know, the challenges in the post that both Jeffries and Knotts present, because, you know, they kind of almost relish the physicality, it seems like.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we talked to the girls about in the last week. We knew, you know, those 2 post players are very, very athletic, and they're very physical. And of course, I got a couple post players that are pretty physical themselves, so I knew it was going to be a battle down there. So I don't think it was anything the girls really were surprised from. I mean, we watched film on them, and for, you know, a good little while the other day. So they saw how physical they were. So I knew it was going to be a battle down there. So I don't think they were surprised with it. I think they were just more trying to get their feet and legs under them and get that deer in the headlight look out of them, just being in the Civic Center. And, you know, we got a lot of rust right now, just not playing a whole lot. So I think or hope that we'll play better as the week goes.
And Gracie, 9 points in the first quarter, you know, lighting it up from 3. What worked well for you in that first quarter and throughout the rest of the game, you know, 17 points?
Just being open. Just let it rip.
Did you come into the game with a more aggressive mindset than usual?
I don't think so. I think we were all nervous at first, but then we just calmed down.
We always hear how tough it is to shoot here, so, you know, knowing that you're here, you don't play in a lot of venues, obviously any venues this size or with a backdrop, and the fact, like your coach said, you guys haven't played a lot of games in a while. How are you able to avoid rust when it comes to perimeter shooting?
Shooting at practice all the time.
Does it help, though, to make a couple early and maybe, you know, see
Yeah.
that confidence grow and the
Yeah,
basket looks a
definitely.
little bigger?
Definitely.
Coach, and can you talk a little bit about Gracie? I mean, Rick Mauser was saying in the film he had watched, you know, he had never seen her do anything quite like that. So it seemed like, obviously, it took a little bit of, you know, it took them by surprise a little bit, I think.
Yeah. Gracie, I've been waiting on that with Gracie all season. She battled some sickness early at the first half of the year, still battling a little bit. She rolled her ankle there early in the season, and we got her back for like a week, and she went and rolled it again. So the ankle she got over, but we just never quite was able to get her into shape all season. And I've been telling people for the past week, I feel like we're finally getting Gracie to the point where what I was expecting out of her when the season started. And I think a couple days ago, I was telling her congratulations on some all-conference stuff, and I told her that you're almost there, Gracie. I think it's all mental now. Remember me telling you that? And I told her to give me the best Gracie Montgomery that she's got this week, and she started off the week pretty well. I think she's done that. So it doesn't surprise me out of Gracie. On the year that she's I can understand why that would surprise people, but I've been waiting on it, and there's no better time for her to come out of it than the first round of the state tournament. So it doesn't surprise me at all. I've been waiting on it and needed it.
How about the ability, though, to not fall in love with it? I mean, you guys made 8, but you only took 12. You know, sometimes we see teams make 8 or 9, maybe take 35.
Yeah, right. I think it had a lot to do with Philip Barbour too. I think once they realized she could hit a couple, they didn't give us a whole lot of looks. Because trust me, these two girls here will fling them up if they got any kind of space. So I think Philip Barbour did a pretty good job at chasing us off the three-point line. So I thought, Gracie drove and tacked a couple times. I know Quinn drove to the hole a couple times, got some buckets. So I think that was huge. Like you said, they didn't settle, and they would look to attack the rim a little bit. And I think we did get them in foul trouble because we were attacking them a little bit. So, yeah, very proud that they didn't fall in love with them because sometimes Gracie or Quinn, when they're hitting some, they like just to chuck a couple up. So I thought they played within themselves a lot. And also, I think it had a lot to do with Philip Barbour. I think they were just really chasing us off the line.
Quinn, could you talk a little bit about the value of free throw shooting and just take us through your mindset as you continuously step to the line in some pretty tight spots in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I know, like, I'm the ball handler, so most of the time, like, I'm going to be the one sent to the free throw line. So I just walk up and try to not think about anything and just shoot them like I practice them.
Arissa, you were battling with the bigs, Philip Barbour, with Tatum and Izzy as well. What was that battle like? The physicality was, it was the entire game pretty much started from opening tip to the final buzzer. What was that battle like for you?
Yeah, so it was definitely physical down there the whole entire game. A lot of shoving back and forth from both sides. A lot of people yelling, call fouls, but you just have to, play through that, and you got to get used to that and just go straight up, because if not, they're going to call everything.
Miss Bunch, that last minute and a half, you ran about 3 miles. Was the speed setting in?
Yeah, I was definitely getting tired. I think I looked at him one time and was like, call a timeout for me. Like, I need one.
Thank you.
Coach, could you touch on your mindset there in the closing seconds? I know there was only like 0.8 seconds left, but, they kick off that inbounds pass, and I just wanted to know what was running through your mind there.
I was wanting the ball to go down the court, but I wanted it to go a little farther because I knew there was 0.8 seconds left on the clock. I knew the only thing bad could happen here is if we threw that thing short, and because if she'd have caught it, she was going to have an opportunity to put it up. Just next time, I want that thing going the other side of half court. That was sort of my plan there. She just sort of short-armed a little bit. I don't know. I don't think you really want to know what was going through my mind when all that happened. But anyway, that really wasn't my original plan. I was wanting to go long. Once it hit, I knew that clock was going to start, but I just wanted to go. I wanted it to go a lot farther. That's why I had Bert throw it out. She's probably one of my strongest kids on the team, but I'll rip her about that later.
And I'll finish up by asking, what's the keys to keep pushing this run?
It's these girls' goal. Our goal was to make it down here, and obviously every team that makes it here wants to go try to win a state title. They know they got a big task ahead of them Friday night. But the one good thing, they know they beat this team, and like I just told them, it doesn't matter what we did 2 months ago, but I think just knowing you beat them up there at third place should give them a little bit of confidence to play them again. So that's one of our things as Williams Central with these kids. I've always got so intimidated because Williams Central is a very solid program, boys, girls, football, whatever sport it is. So sometimes you see that Williams Central on their jersey and we're almost already beat. So it's nice to know that they should have some confidence knowing they can do it. Okay, nothing's guaranteed. So hopefully that will help us here come Friday morning.
Any further questions? All right, Coach Lace, thank you all very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.